Yeah, so we're going to look at the economic calendar. There are about 9 events affecting the euro. All this news will be released at 1 p.m. about 2 hours from now. So there are about 9 events, and there are 2 high-impact events. Yeah, let's just take a look at them one by one. Then we'll look at that chart, the euro, USD, and all other charts that have the euro, and we see the market impact that could possibly come in later on today. So the first event is, okay, we have employment change. We have quarter over quarter. Then employment change, that is year over year. Now for these 2 events, a higher reading is most likely going to be bullish for the euro. And here we look at the consensus. It's giving us 0.4%. Previous figure 0.9%. So this quarter over quarter is expected to be poor. Yeah? But then year over year is expected to be very, very optimistic, very good for the euro. And yeah, but these are very low impact events. Now the major event here is the GDP affecting the euro. So we have the quarter over quarter reading. Previous quarter was 0.3%. What is expected for this quarter is for the GDP to remain at this same figure, 0.3%. And so year over year, we have a 4.6% previously, and still 4.6% for this current period. So this one here, it's most likely going to remain the same. But there have been many meetings from yesterday, speeches from the central bank and all these other people. We need to. So after this event plays out, there's going to be a lot of information flooding from Europe that will explain these figures and what will actually come out. So the consensus is figures coming from the independent analysts, but then the government itself will release the actual figures. So those ones there, we shall follow up and see where the market impact, which direction it will take. And because this will be explained further by the people in charge. So after that, there is a trade balance. We have this trade balance is for December. This one is affecting the euro as well. And only one of them has it has a consensus. So this one, these are also low impact events. We have the ZEW survey. These are normally German, these are German surveys being done. But right now, Germany is the main, it's the main country in Europe. It's where the stock exchange is, and that's where the time zone is as well. The time zone for the opening for Europe. Yeah, so for this one here, previous figure is 49.4, expected is 38.2. So this one here is negative for the euro. Then this one here is it is affecting German alone, but because Germany is part of Europe, it affects the euro. But you need to know where you have this flag here of Europe, it is affecting the European Union as a whole. Then where you have the flag of Germany or Spain, it is mostly affecting that country where it has been. So this one here is positive, coming from negative 10.2 to negative 7. This one here is positive for German. Then the economic sentiment, still the ZEW survey. ZEW, it stands for, the word is in Dutch. So it stands for that. And so this one here, previous figure is 51.7. And the consensus is 53.5. So these ones are a bit okay. But where there is an issue is maybe these areas of employment change. But the main event here is the gross domestic product, quarter over quarter and year over year. So once these ones here are released at 1 p.m., we can follow up, and tomorrow we shall have a very good forecast of where that chart could be heading. So so this is the Euro USD chart. Still in a bearish move. Right now it's in some kind of retracement. Retracement zone. We have one high point here, very close to the price. That's why it has been, it was resisted there previously, and there is some resistance there right now. So it could be stuck there for now. But if we put some indicators, okay, so before we do that, first put a trend line. There is a very steep trend. It looks steep when the chart is zoomed out, but we have this trend there. So let me delete this area of resistance which is being broken right now. Let me give this a color that will appear. Shouldn't look like these other colors on the chart. Let me make it blue, light blue. Okay. So we have that line there which gives us a downward trend. So price has been trending towards it. If you look at these bottoms, okay, don't want to make sense out of everything, but okay, if you look at those bottoms, we rarely draw these triangles that that are downcast. But anyway, this triangle that is moving downwards, and we have price from this bottom to this top, and it has been moving within there for quite some time, and now we have a breakout right there. So yeah, so looking at that, this will become the future resistance and support levels. Okay, I don't know what happened there, but I think there we go. So these will be the future areas of resistance and support. Yeah, so we have price that has broken out of that triangle. It could be a retracement there. Now we can't be too much in a hurry to buy, but yeah, but anyway, breaking out above there gives us some kind of sense that price is moving upwards currently. So we have that. This is a resistance line, this one is a support line. So price could come back and test that level. It could very much happen. We could have a scenario like this one where we have a very long candlestick. It could very much happen when this GDP event comes out. It's very possible. Yeah, so let's, okay, so this is the kind of the price action we have here. Okay, so looking at the Fibonacci retracement levels, okay, to that very top, price didn't really reach the 61.8, but then it really moved close. It moved very close, and yeah, so here we have a downward trend. Sometimes looking for reversals can be very tricky and very risky at the same time. Let's try and see if we have any movement that points to a reversal. So looking at the RSI, okay, we could probably, we could very much be having a continuing trend going on. This RSI is moving to an overbought position. If we get the medium point for this indicator, let me add there the 50 mark. Okay, so we have the medium point there, which is 50, and yeah, the RSI was being resisted at that 50 mark, and now it has moved above. So this is mostly, many people call it a medium. When price is coming from a dominant lower position, this becomes a medium overbought position somehow. But if it moves up here, then we shall really have a very good overbought position. So looking at the other areas that are before this high point, most of them are very much higher than this. Yeah, so we could be having, a case of divergence taking place there. We don't really have divergence pushing the price up, but I can almost guarantee that in the smaller charts, we have some divergence there that is pushing that price up. Let's look for it. We should be having some higher lows and some lower lows pushing this price up where it is, where it is moving. So the 1 hour chart, we don't really have that. 30 minutes chart, okay, it's not very clear. 15 minutes chart, we definitely have it. Yeah, so you can't really, it's very obvious. We have here the higher lows, yeah, oversold position there, and price comes out, and lower lows. So we have our divergence there in the 15-minute chart that gave us that price movement upwards, and might even have a MACD crossing into that dominant position. So We have lower lows there, higher lows, MACD crossing, and how many pips could we have collected from this? There are about 19, okay, about 20 pips there, and to where the price is right now, about 30 pips. So if you're scalping, that would have been a very nice scalping trade. 30 pips. 30 pips times with another 0 there for the points, times your lot size maybe 0 point, your scalping lot size 0.8. Yeah, $240 in a very brief move. Let's see how many hours that has taken. That was 1:45. 1:45. Okay, that was 1:45 a.m. Yeah, 1:45 a.m. and yeah, from that point up to right now, you'd have $240 times our exchange rate, 3,500 minimum, 840K. Yeah, in just half of your day. So it would have been a good scalping trade. But that trade happened at 1:45. That's when that crossover, that's when that thing happened. If you bought earlier on, you could have had about 45 pips. Yeah, 45 pips. Let's do another calculation. 45 pips, that is 450 times 0.8, 360 times 3, 500. Yeah, 1,260,000. Enough of it if you had bought from this very bottom. But all these things happened at around, okay, that bottom happened at 9 last night, 9:15. Then that other move happened at around 1:45, 2 a.m. So, yeah, this can be very hard to attain because we have to sleep. we have to enjoy our sleep. So it becomes hard to attain such a goal because it is at 1 a.m. How do you explain this to your wife? If you explain that, yeah, there's a possibility I could make $1 million, then maybe, yeah, that explanation really works. But if you stay awake the whole night, But anyway, I'm trying to give some reason for why we do not attain certain goals. It's because of how we live our lives. And the only way of benefiting from this, if you're asleep, is if you have a program that recognizes this pattern and enters the trade for you while you're sleeping. Then you make your passive income like that. So if you have a program that identifies this in the middle of the night, yeah, and then it enters the trade, you can find that trade in the morning when you wake up and you see what to do with it, and you make your money like that. That is why we need to really advance. Technologically, we have computers and everything. Yeah, we can't look at computers and ignore code. We have to start coding, and we start taking advantage of all that information that we have, all that knowledge that we learn about in schools. So Euro USD, okay, moving back to this chart. So it could be bearish, it's in a bearish move, but what happens with this GDP event is going to dictate so much about how this chart is going to move. So other charts that have the euro, let's first look at this real analysis. See Euro USD, okay, there's a lot of selling movement there. Yeah, it is generally selling. Let's look for other charts that are trending with the euro. Okay, the euro versus the Australian dollar. This one is in some kind of range market. Let's look at it in a 4-hour chart. Okay. Okay, so it's also a bit, it's also bearish, but let me zoom it out a little bit more. So, yeah, it's also a bit bearish, but yeah, it's quite, okay, let's look for one which looks very obvious. Euro Canada, okay, this one looks a bit obvious. So if we have, where did the reversal take place? I think it started there. That's the bottommost point. So if we take those areas there, we have, we have pricing between the 38.2 and the 50.0. We can capitalize on this. So we can start selling below and I'm not telling you to sell, this is what I would do. Yeah, below the 50.0 can sell and collect about 50 pips to the 61.8. That is if price continues becoming bearish. Sometimes it's good to just trade in the direction that the market is taking. If the market is going down, then you start selling, you go down with it. If it's going up, you buy, but you don't find the market in such a position moving downwards, and you decide to buy. That can be very risky. Okay, so yeah, this one here is a bit, it looks good, so we can just keep watching that one. Euro Canada, it looks a bit obvious. Euro CHF, this one is also a bit, looks like the Euro USD somehow. We have these two double tops. Here they are really double tops. Here they really look very obvious. We have the trend starting from down here and reversing up there, and yeah, price is still struggling above the 50.0, and it is still bearish. This one is still bearish, so you can take advantage of that, can analyze it and see. We're just looking for selling moves. Looking for buying moves in a downward market is a bit risky. Okay, the euro versus the GBP. This one looks interesting. We don't really have anything pointing to a reversal. We just have a very strong support down here, very, very strong support, and a very strong resistance up there. You can look for the median point between the two, somewhere there. Yeah, so these are areas to look out for. Then you can look for further median points there and somewhere there. So we can track the movement of price in between all those lines. These are all significant areas. You must always draw these lines. They must always have the same number of pips in between them, so that they have to really be very, very accurately drawn. Okay, so we can take these lines here to give us the movement of price. So we can sell below this one, buy above that one, and we keep it like that and see how we can profit from that. It's not a very, very obvious chart, this one here. The euro versus the Norwegian krone, by the looks of it, it already looks very ranging. It's a ranging market. There isn't much you can really do with this one. Price could break out either upwards or downwards. This one is not so obvious. We have the first highest point there, then the lowest point there, sort of moving upwards. We don't really have a triangular formation here. No, this one here is still not very obvious. The euro versus the New Zealand dollar. Okay, this one looks good. This one looks somehow good. Let's look at the RSI. Okay, so price overbought. We don't have. There's no reason for. There's no divergence here telling you that you're selling or whatever. Maybe in a smaller time frame. We don't. 30 minutes chart. Don't really have that. But okay, so assuming that we already have a reversal taking place there, sometimes you don't get divergence. You just make an assumption and you see how to ride on that momentum. So here we have this price moving upwards. So we have this upward movement, and price is now at the 23.6. This is very good for looking at price at this very moment. That is very good. It's a 4-hour chart. So we can safely start selling below those low tips. You don't want to take a risk buying within the price range. So if we sell from there, we can get about 140 pips to the 38.2. So if the euro versus the New Zealand, looking at all other charts, they've been moving in a downward. They've been moving downwards. There's bearish movement in other charts, and this one is still somehow. It was still bullish, but now we are starting to have some bearish movement. We can easily, we can start selling, knowing that the euro is going down versus other charts. So it could start going down as well versus the New Zealand dollar. Yeah, so we can capitalize on that and make some money from that area to that one. We have very good support in this previous price movement, and yeah, that's a good call. The other thing to do would be to buy above that highest point. So we just wait for price to move up there and you buy, but we already have an overbought position. We have the RSI in this dominant upward position. Now it has moved into a dominant downward position. So we could be having price moving down there. Yeah, that is something that, that looks obvious for now. Okay, and the euro versus the South African rand. This one here is terribly going down. Yeah, so it's only in that New Zealand dollar where the euro is still holding its own. It is still a bit bullish. It had that bullish power. So this one here is at a very strong resistance. Yeah, let me zoom this in and we see. It looks like it's breaking the resistance. It's most likely breaking it. It could have a break there, and so if it breaks that resistance, then the next point is that one. If it breaks that support, the next point is that one, and yeah, the lowest point, let me just drag the red line to where the very lowest tip has been previously. So if price breaks there, there's a possibility that we could collect some. This is 2,287 pips. The euro versus the South African rand. Yeah, so you can easily collect that, and yeah, but then we need to get reason for buying, just in case we are going to buy. In case we're going to buy, if this point goes any lower than this one and closes, then we're going to have this price being oversold, and this price above this other one there. So we could have some divergence taking place there. We could have lower lows on the chart, very slightly, they will be very slight, but very significant as well. Then higher lows on the RSI. So if you're going to have some bullish movement coming up, it could be because of that. Okay, so I think that's the last chart with the euro. Maybe silver versus the euro. This is the price of silver going down versus the euro. I think this time we shall bear with these period separators. Okay, so silver is going down, but it could become bullish. So these charts of metals, they normally don't follow the forex charts. They don't follow that kind of price movement, simply because metals don't really have one area of settlement. It's not like a country that has silver as their currency. Therefore, the activities of that country affect silver alone. That's not the case. But let's see if we can find any patterns similar between silver versus euro and gold versus the euro. Okay, so the only similarity there is that big drop. It's there in silver, that is in gold, and that is in silver. So there's a big drop there. But anyway, this chart is generally bullish. It's generally moving upwards, and and gold versus the euro, it's also moving upwards in a very sharp formation. Yeah, these charts, they have their own unique kind of fundamental analysis, which we shall get to very soon. But the general price movement here is upwards. This is a gold versus the euro, and for silver versus the euro, it is generally moving sideways in the daily chart. So, okay, it's generally moving sideways, but mostly bearish. So that is something to keep watching. So yeah, it could easily be reversing right now. This could be an area of reversal. It's very, very possible. It's very, very possible. So yeah, looking at this 30 minutes chart, yeah, it looks like it's actually reversing. I think if price moves below that support line, that is 20.711. Yeah, if price moves below there, we could, we could easily start selling. Yeah, but then with charts like this, it's good to also make for them robots to their patterns. If you get a pattern that really works out well, it's good to script it, and that same pattern will make you some good money passively. Yeah, the goal is to make money, and yeah, for those who are making money, you have to make money passively. Yeah? That is another important thing that you need to keep in mind. Okay, so I think that is the last chart for today. Yeah? So you can download that BVB Trade FX app. I'm going to load it onto my social media platform, which is on Telegram. You can search for my name without a space, just Makune Marcelino. You can search for that on Telegram, and you will get onto that page. And I'm going to put the app there. I didn't put it there yesterday, but I'm going to put it there today. There are some sort of upgrades. So I'm going to put it there, and then you will experience it. There have been so many people using it, so the bandwidth has been used up. But you have upgraded the bandwidth and everything, so I think it will be much smoother when you're using it, and the charts will probably load a lot faster. I was going to include all the other small time frames, the 2-hour time frame, those 2 hours, there was 2 days, there are so many time frames now on TradingView. So I'm going to include them, but they use up a lot of data and a lot of processing power. So maybe we shall see how to work with those ones. But for now, you can use it the way it is, and very soon there will be more features added to it. So thank you for watching. Have a good day. Goodbye.